In this video, I'm going to be building the best possible auctionable team right now in NBA 2K23. My team, if you guys don't know what I mean by auctionable, basically every single card on this team will be able to be purchased from the auction house. So no like lock-in cards like a Tim Thomas, no free cards from the trophy case like Dr. J, Tim Duncan, and then obviously no spotlight cards like those KG, Tyreek Evans, Candy. All of those cards won't be on this team, and every single card you guys will see on this team, you guys can directly purchase off the auction house. So at the starting point guard position, we are going to be starting with the point guard Ben Simmons. Now, I will say something about the combos of the backcourt. We'll talk about that later in the video. I think Ben Simmons is the best point guard in the game because he's 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. But I think our backcourt off the bench, honestly, as a combo and as a duo, I think might actually be a little bit better. But for this team, I think we're going to start Ben Simmons at the starting point guard spot. I think he's easily the best point guard in the game in the comp setting because he's 6'11" at point guard, and he's going to be an amazing defender. 90 block, 94 steal, 94 lateral quickness, 89 perimeter with an 86 interior defense. I mean, he's going to be such a good versatile defender. He can also like play make a little bit, create his own shot, having Hall of Fame claim breaker, quick first steps. It's not like he's a cone and can't do anything on the offensive end. And then defensively, Hoff badge wise, he's got Hall of Fame anchor, challenger, clamps, glove, menace, pick dodger, and post lockdown as well. Now you might be saying, 65 3 ball and no shooting badges. That could be a flaw, but honestly, this Ben Simmons jump shot on quick timing is actually pretty easy to green. And if you add some shooting badges like catch and shoot, Claymore, green machine, guard up, like he can actually green very, very consistently. Also, if you have like a coach and a shoot boost, for example, right? Like if you run a Monty Williams, now he's at a 73 ball, and then you give him a +4 from a shoot boost. Now he's going to be at a 74 3 ball. You give him some shooting badges. He's got a quick release. I mean, that jump shot is actually very easy to green. So Ben Simmons, the best point guard in my team, and for this auctionable team, going to be the starting point guard. Now at the shooting guard spot, I think there's so many different names you can go with. I still think Vince Carter is the best auctionable shooting guard. Like you could go with a guy like Pippen, but I'll explain that later in the video. Like if you go Pippen and Simmons in the backcourt, you're just really not going to have that much offense. So Vince Carter for our starting lineup is definitely going to be our primary ball handler and our main scorer, because this card offensively is still an absolute bucket. He's 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. I mean, these stats, at least all around, are super well complete. Like he's got a 98 driving dunk, 98 vertical, so he's going to be dunking on everybody, getting a lot of contact dunks, having Hall of Fame posterizer, limitless takeoff, fast twitch, and bully as well. And then 3-point shooting wise, like he's got a 96 3 ball, 95 mid-range. They gave him the Kyle Kuzma base, so he's got one of the best bases in my team on quick timing, super easy to green. And then they also gave him some really good dribble sigs, the MJ dribble style, the De'Aaron Fox size up, and the John Wall escape. Like these are some of the best size ups and the best escapes in the game. And so I mean, just all around, this Vince Carter I do think is going to be the best auctionable shooting guard, and I think this is a very good backcourt. I mean, you have Ben Simmons for the defense. He's gonna give you that height, that athleticism, and that versatility. And then you have Vince Carter at the shooting guard spot, who's going to be very good offensively. Now, this may seem a little bit crazy to say, but is AK-47 the best small forward that's auctionable in this position? I think he honestly might be, because yes, we can't use Tim Thomas, but then after that, there's guys like LeBron who could be on this list. There's guys like maybe, I don't know, Tatum, Zion, like those are kind of the next best small forwards, maybe a guy like Giannis. So there's really not that many great auctionable small forwards in the game. I will say that's probably one of the weakest positions in the game, I will say. But AK is no, like, he's not a bad card. AK is still very elite. He's 6'9" at the small forward spot with a 7-foot wingspan, and he's going to give you that lockdown defense. So now that we're pairing Ben Simmons and AK on the same court, our defense is starting to look really, really elite. Like you could put AK as your main ball handler, and then put AK on their best ball handler and their best scorer, and then you could throw Ben Simmons on their secondary ball handler, and he's able to clamp them up. And then Vince can go on like their small forward, and just play some pretty good defense on the lock. But AK, such a good defender, probably still the best defender in my team, at least all around. He's got a 97 block, 97 steal, 97 lateral quickness, 96 perimeter, 94 interior defense. Just plays such great overall defense, and even playmaking wise, he's got Hall of Fame claim breaker, quick first step, and obviously has tons and tons of Hall of Fame defensive badges. Animations wise, I mean, he's got a pretty good jump shot, at least in my opinion. I think it's pretty easy to green, especially on quick timing. And then they also gave him the MJ dribble style and the normal leaner. So if he needs to create his own shot, he definitely can. He's pretty fast and does have a pretty good release in my opinion. And he's going to be our starting small forward for the best auctionable team. Not the power forward position. I mean, it's really between like 2 or 3 names. I think for me, I think Dirk Nowitzki is the best auctionable power forward in the game. Obviously, there's guys like Kevin Garnett and maybe even that Yee card as well. But yes, we're doing an auctionable team, so those cards are free and can't be included on this this squad. Definitely KG would be the starting power forward, but Dirk, a really good power forward still. He's 7'1" with a 7'3" wingspan, really good on the offensive end. I'm not the biggest fan of his jump shot. I think a lot of people like his release more than I do. The Tim Duncan upper is really nice though, and this Bielitsa base is not bad. I think it's a pretty solid jump shot, but not really the biggest fan of his release. But other than that, he's just a very good overall power forward and can obviously shoot the ball very well with the shooting badges and the 98 3 ball. So I mean, Dirk Nowitzki, probably the best auctionable power forward. And then guys, at the center position to round off the starting lineup, I think everyone could guess Yao Ming is going to be that starting center. I mean, do I even need to look at this card on 2KDB? I don't think you really even have to. I mean, it's Yao Ming. He's 7'6", has a 7'9" wingspan. If you guys have been playing my team since, you know, January the 20th when he came out, you guys will know this is the best card in my team, and I don't think it's particularly close, and I don't think it will be for another couple months. I mean, he literally should have came out in like April or May. Like, he just came out way too early. Like, this card is so overpowered. I feel like shouldn't really even be in the game, but he is in the game, and he's going to be the starting center for the best auctionable team. Now, off the bench, so here's what I was talking about. I think James Harden and Scottie Pippen, I think as a duo, like in the backcourt, might honestly be better than Ben Simmons and Vince Carter, but I do personally think that Vince is a better shooting guard than Pippen, which I know is up for debate. Like, I think you could definitely argue Pippen over a guy like Vince Carter, but the reason why you don't do this, for example, like if you go Ben Simmons and Pippen starting, right, like then our offense on the starting lineup really isn't that great, and the defense in our backcourt isn't elite as well. It's not going to be a bad defensive backcourt, but it's not going to be a good one. So kind of the way to do it is either go Harden and Pippen on the starting lineup, you get that really good offense from James Harden, Pippen obviously a great defender, or you could switch it and kind of how I have it with the starting lineup, where you go Ben Simmons and Vince Carter to give you some really good defense and height with Ben Simmons, and then you kind of have your main ball handler and your main scorer in a guy like Vince Carter. But what I'm saying is I think Harden and Pippen in that backcourt might actually be a little bit better than the duo of Ben Simmons and Vince. But I think it's a close debate. You guys can let me know what backcourt would you guys rather run. If you had a limited amount of MT and you guys had every card in the game, would you guys rather run Scottie Pippen and Harden, or would you guys rather run Vince Carter and Ben Simmons? Let me know down below. I do want to hear your guys' opinions on that. But Harden, though, really good point guard. He's 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. Still one of the best offensive cards in the game, especially at the point guard position. Like, he's easily the best offensive point guard in the game. He's got such a great jump shot, such good stats, really good dribble sigs. He feels very similar to James Harden in real life, at least maybe back in his prime when he was on the Rockets, like those step back threes and just able to create space really easily and get wide open shots. And then obviously Scottie Pippen at the backup shooting guard spot, going to be a very good defender, like one of the best on-ball defenders in the game with these defensive stats, and he's also got an 87 block. I would say him and Vince are definitely the two best shooting guards in the game. Once again, if you want to argue Pippen over Vince, I think that's definitely fair to say, but then I feel like you also got to start Harden just because of the balance of the backcourt, you know, having offense and defense. But at the backup three, kind of the same thing with AK on the starting lineup. There's just really not that many great small forwards besides Tim Thomas. I mean, yes, there's Zion, yes, and there's Tatum or maybe Giannis. I might be missing somebody like completely obvious, but from the small forwards, I can at least think of like maybe a Cincy Powell or something like that. But LeBron for me, I think is probably the second or third best small forward in the game, even counting, you know, Tim Thomas. So if we're not counting Tim Thomas, I think him and AK are probably the new next best small forwards, especially in like a best possible team, because on the starting lineup, we already have Vince and Ben to kind of handle the ball. We got Yao Ming and Dirk, who are very good offensive cards in our front court, you know, as our big man. So why do we don't really need another offensive small forward, and we don't really need another offensive card at the small forward position. So that's why we go with AK-47, because he gives us that versatility on the defensive end, he gives us that lockdown defense on the perimeter, and overall it's just going to fit in really well with this type of team. And it's the same thing with LeBron James on the bench. He's just a very well-rounded card that fits in with pretty much every single lineup. But if you go with a guy like Zion, then you're giving up a little bit of defense. He gets tired a little bit easy, right? You kind of just wanted a guy that's 6'9", plays really good defense, and I think that's what LeBron and AK do as well. And they're also affordable cards, you know, too, that a lot of people can pick up and add to their team. And then for the backup four, I think it's really between Chet and Bob Nedelecki. I personally do like this Chet card. I know a lot of people, when I did my top 10 cards in the game, I posted that yesterday. I know a lot of people said they didn't really like Chet and didn't think he was a top 10 card. I think Chet's super elite. I do think Dirk is probably a little bit better now that more I've looked into it, but Chet is still a very good defender. I think that's what people forget to realize. Yes, you might not like like his jump shot. I just typed in Donovan Mitchell, but you might not like his jump shot, but he is such a good defender, being 7 foot with a 7'6" wingspan. He's got a 92 interior defense, 97 block. He's super versatile in the defensive end. He can guard pretty much every position in the game. I think for Chet, it really just comes down to if you like his jump shot or not. And if you like his release like I do, then I think he's probably like the 3rd or 4th best power forward in the game. And for this team, going to be our backup power forward. And then for our backup center, I think it's really between, 1, maybe 2 guys. I think D-Rob is definitely the, 2nd best auctionable center in the game. I think Cream's up there as well if you want to go with more of like a rebounder and a defender. But all around, guys, I think this is going to be the best auctionable team you guys can build right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. But let me know in the comment section down below, what would you guys change about my team? And let me know what you guys think about that backcourt, Ben Simmons and Vince, or Harden and Pippen. Who would you guys rather use? But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.